Here on the desk, we've got three flagship CPUs from both Team Red and Team Blue, starting off with the 2990WX, a 32-core 64-threaded beast. And this is coming in at currently 2,643 Aussie dollars. If you're in America, 1,729 US dollars. Then beside that is the 7980XE, which was released in Q3 of 2017. And since then has had a refresh, which is the 9980XE, and that's currently coming in around $2,979 if you're in Australia, or in the US around about 2,000 USD flat. So at these prices, these CPUs are definitely a very big consideration if you're getting into the market. And today we're going to go over a lot of different benchmarks for you guys with stock figures both out of the box and overclocked as well, which is very important because me personally in my workstations, I overclock my machines. They're completely stable. I haven't had one crash out of my 8-core in the background there. But before we do get on with the benchmarking, I was actually curious about the differences between these two 18-core parts. What has changed in this refresh? And I was actually quite surprised to see that Intel were using stim on this. So that's the soldering between the die and the IHS. And I'll show you guys some quick temperature tests here where the stim version, the 9980XE, performed a lot better in terms of temperatures. It allowed overclocking to be smooth with, of course, out delitting the CPU, which on a purchase this big, I would seriously consider not delitting it because you will void the warranty. And on a CPU like this, the last thing you need to do is lose that massive investment. But besides the temperatures, we've also apparently gone from 14nm plus to 14nm plus, where they've changed the transistor gate pitch from 70nm to 84, which allows for easier overclocking and more stability at those higher clock speeds. And speaking of these CPUs and overclocks, I'm clocking the 18-core variants both to 4.4 GHz each, and then we're overclocking the 2990WX to 3.8 GHz. I did try to get more out of the 2990WX, but the board just switched off because it was just drawing too much power after those levels. And for the memory, we're using the Corsair Dominator RGB Platinum across all these three different CPUs. So we're gonna get an apples to apples to apples comparison. And with all that said, let's roll those benchmarks for you guys and then come back and look at everything in between with these three flagships. And so there's the benchmarks finished, and we're gonna break this down section by section. And the first thing we'll get out of the way with is the gaming benchmarks, because they're not that important for me personally. And if you're in the market for a CPU of this caliber and this price, I believe gaming shouldn't be your top priority, as you can get cheaper options from both Team Blue and Team Red that'll perform much better in games, but also save you a lot more money. If you wish to see those reviews, I'll put the 9900K review up here and also the 2700X review. But with that out of the way, CSGO 1080p high settings. Out of the box, the 9980XE did perform a little bit better than the 7980XE, which then performed better than the 2990WX. However, it is important to note that the 2990WX has gotten a lot smoother since when it was first released. And I did notice this when I first tested out the 2990WX. It was a little bit of a mess, but since then Windows have updated their scheduler and it is performing a lot smoother in games. Next up here we had Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, another online competitive multiplayer title where arguably getting the most FPS possible is pretty important, especially if you are in competitive play. And here is where the 18 core variants perform pretty much identical even out of the box, which I was quite surprised, where the 9980XE is meant to have a 200 MHz higher base clock than the 7980XE. But in this benchmark, they did perform very similar, and then they both beat out the 2990WX again. But just like I said in CSGO, 2990WX is still a very smooth experience. Now, as for a streaming benchmark, all three of these CPUs are geared up towards streaming, since they do have a lot of headroom, a lot of wiggle room. And so here's the streaming benchmarks here, where we can see a similar trend, although you are just dropping off a bit of FPS on all three CPUs. Anyway, gaming aside, let's get on to productivity benchmarks. First up, we had encoding with Handbrake, and out of the box, the 7980XE and the 9980XE performed very similar, and Ryzen Threadripper was the 2990WX a little bit memory bound here, I believe, scoring the same scores out of the box versus the overclocked settings. And so this was a little bit disappointing to see, but of course that quad channel memory mixed with 32 cores does have its limitations in some benchmarks. But moving on to 7-zip, the compression and decompression numbers, the compression numbers were in favor of the 18 core variants. And then moving on to the 32 core variant, this is a bit of an Achilles heel on the compression side, but the decompression side was very impressive, scoring over 190,000 points, both out of the box settings and overclocked. So again, we are still reaching a memory bottleneck there on the 2990WX, as opposed to the Intel CPUs, which did a lot better on the decompression side once we overclocked. Moving on to the Geekbench Multi did confirm something about the 7980XE and the ASUS Deluxe II X299 motherboard, and this is a refreshed X299 motherboard, and that was that it was favoring the 7980XE out of the box, giving it some enhancements via BIOS tweaks, but you'll see that won't relate to all these benchmark scores here a little bit later, but it was beating out the 9980XE out of the box. But when we overclocked it, we got very similar scores at 4.4 GHz versus 4.4 GHz. The Ryzen chip did very well out of the box on the single thread score with the stock settings, where it boosts up to over 4.2 GHz on the single core speeds. And then the 3.8 GHz coming well behind that score. And then the multi-core score doing pretty much the same, with again a memory bottleneck being realized with 3.8 GHz versus the all-core speeds out of the box of around 3.15 GHz on the 2990WX. However, the next benchmark, Corona 1.3, really showed where the 2990WX flexes its muscles, and this is going to be a very important benchmark, as well as a few others in relation to the conclusion with these two CPUs. But here we got 37 seconds versus the best score of 44 seconds on the both 18 cores at 4.4 GHz, and the 9980XE was performing better than the 7980XE out of the box in this particular benchmark. Moving over to speedometer, we saw some results in favor of the Intel CPUs, where higher is better in this particular benchmark. It's essentially a web browser benchmark based off Java, and we got a score of 77.1 at 4.4 GHz and about 76.8. So they're roughly performing the same, the 18 core variants. And then the 2990WX was falling a little bit behind. Adobe Premiere Pro, however, is another area where the Intel chips do very strong. They do have that optimization, especially for 9th gen architecture. And here on a 11-minute and 45-second video, this is the recent spell break video I did, which is very up to date, has a lot of transitions and effects. We can see here that the 13-minute and 55-second score out of the box was pretty much replicated on both the 18 cores with their out-of-the-box settings, and then when we overclocked it, we got pretty much the same settings yet again, which did beat the Threadripper chips, since all those 18 cores are being utilized as efficiently as possible. But we didn't see much of a difference between all these chips when they were out of the box and overclocked in those scores per se. But one thing I will add to Adobe Premiere Pro, especially these benchmarks, is that for me personally, it's very important when I'm scrubbing through footage that I have the smoothest experience possible. And here's where the 18 core did excel, especially when it was overclocked. It was just running through 4K footage, even at full render on live scrubbing, absolutely no problems at all. The 2990WX did struggle a little bit here, and it wasn't noticeable compared to the Intel counterpart. Moving to Cinebench, this is where the 32 core variant really comes out on top, both out of the box and overclocked. It could really spread its wings, getting a max score of 5,780, and then the Intel variant still did pretty well when they were overclocked, getting around 4,270 points. The single core scores were better on the Intels, both overclocked and out of the box. getting about 4.1 gigahertz with stock factory settings, and then that 4.4 gigahertz really coming out ahead. The Ryzen Threadripper chip with its single core boost at stock settings did go to around 4 to 4.175 gigahertz, which then did beat out the 3.8 gigahertz manual overclock. But now onto another simulated 3D rendering benchmark. This is V-Ray, where the 2990WX did come out on top, where lower is better in this particular case, with 23 seconds and then 28 seconds out of the box. The Intel 18 cores, when they were overclocked, got 29 seconds and then 37 and 39 seconds respectively. So those ASUS Deluxe II enhancements weren't working on the 7980XE in this particular benchmark, but the GPU scores were pretty much all similar across the board. The overclock score is getting slightly better numbers in this particular scenario. And then onto the last particular benchmark here, 3D Mark times by Extreme, where we're looking in particular to the CPU physics scores, where the best scores were done by the 9980XE at 4.4 GHz manual overclock, and the 7980XE coming slightly behind. We'll talk about this very soon and why this is. And the Threadripper chip still doing very well, but that was better when it was out of the box versus when it was overclocked. So again, perhaps that quad channel memory limitation on 32 cores is coming into effect in this particular benchmark. Anyway guys, pulling up reference to that last benchmark, 3D Mark times by Extreme, and why would the 7980XE perform slightly below at 4.4 gigahertz? Well, once I looked into it and did some temperature tests and stress tests with i9-9980XE, we'll again pull up those temperatures. The 7980XE at 4.4 gigahertz manual overclock with 1.2 volts was being thermal throttled, as opposed to the 9980XE, which was well under that thermal throttle limit. Didn't even get to 90 degrees on any single core, whereas opposed to the 7980XE, that got to 110 degrees, and it was throttling actually 4% after stress testing it for over 10 minutes. And this has to do with the thermal paste released on the 7th gen chip versus the 9th gen chip, which is using that stim and the solder interface material between the die and the IHS. So this is making a massive difference to the overclocks and temperatures, which will help with stability. As for the Threadripper chip, the temperatures were fine, but as I said in the intro, I could only get this thing to 3.8 gigahertz before the whole motherboard just tripped out. As for the cooler, we're using the Enermax variant versus the Intel side where I was using the Corsair RGB Platinum. So the temperatures aren't really an apples to apples comparison against the two different AMD versus Intel architectures, but the temperatures were both fine on the latest released chips. Though in relation to power consumption, here's where things get a little bit tricky because efficiency pretty much goes out the window on all three of these CPUs once you start overclocking. We can see the out of the box settings were actually very well controlled on the 7980XE, moving over to the 9980XE, that was getting a higher clock speed, as well as getting 344 watts from the wall. Then the Threadripper chip was getting 386, but when we overclocked the Threadripper chip, that was going up to 640 watts. The Intel was going up to 494 watts on the 9980XE, and then the 7980XE was getting 534 watts, and this was both at 4.4 gigahertz. So the new refresh is more efficient, and I mean, you'd expect it to be since it is being released over a year later, but it is good to see that you can get higher overclocks with lower temperatures, but also lower power consumption at the same time. In terms of idle power consumption, the 9980XE out of the box went to as low as 78 watts, which was very impressive and very surprising considering it is 18 cores, quad channel memory was installed, and the motherboard does carry a pretty big chipset. But speaking of chipsets and the support, we've got 44 PCIe lanes on both the 18 core variants versus 60 PCIe lanes on the Threadripper 2990WX. Also, another difference worth mentioning between the Intel and AMD chips is that the Intel chips do carry AVX512 instruction set. The 2990WX doesn't carry that, but real world applications for me personally, I didn't really encounter any, so I don't know if that's a factor, but it is something worth mentioning, especially if you're putting this amount of money on the table for a CPU. So of course, now we're coming down to the conclusion of which is the better CPU, and this is one of those comparisons where it's really not a clear winner. You can't just say this one is just straight better than the other. As we can see in some of those benchmarks, the 2990WX with 32 core 64 threads can be utilized in certain applications. And if you can utilize all those cores and threads, and that's all you do, then that's probably going to be a better CPU for you. But as for the 9980XE, that is a beast all round. It does everything very well. There was not one bottleneck that we came into. As opposed to the 2990WX, that quad channel memory with 32 cores is a limiting factor, especially when we overclock it in certain applications. the Intel CPU doesn't have any bottlenecks whatsoever, and the single core thread speeds are still very impressive for an 18 core part. So it pretty much comes down to this. The 9980XE is a better CPU than the 7980XE. It's got all those improvements, so I wouldn't even consider the older 7th gen chip unless you could get it for a much cheaper price. But as for the 9th gen versus the 2990WX, that all comes down to the question of you, the user. What do you want to do with these CPUs? What is your intention? They're going to be better at different things. For me personally, and my workflow being predominantly Adobe, as well as doing some multitasking, the 18-core 9980XE would be a better choice. But of course, if you're a 3D renderer in Maya, for example, you might be able to benefit out of the 2990WX, getting a single license and utilizing all those 32 cores. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the flagship versus refresh flagship versus the red flagship. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button. Also let us know in the comments section below, what do you think about these CPUs, all these core counts, all these threads? Love reading your opinions as always. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. If you enjoyed this one, you may wish to consider subscribing, hitting that bell notification, or if you want that inside scoop before it even gets to YouTube, I'm posting up stories and pictures on Instagram. Check us out there, Tech Yes City. And also as a disclaimer, the 9980XE is a loan sample. I do have to return that. The 2990WX is a review sample that I've kept from last year. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out for now. Bye.